Hello everyone, welcome back to my knitting podcast called Joy in Knitting. My name is Dakota, and today we're going to talk about some very complicated works in progress. I don't have any finished objects, just works in progress, and for some reason for the month of April I decided to work on some very complicated things, so I'll talk about those. And I can't wait for them to be finished projects so I can talk about it in the next video, but for today we're just gonna talk about the things I'm working on and kind of chat a little bit about a certain topic, which I'll get to when I get to the specific project. But yeah, today it is Saturday and it's a very gloomy spring rainy day here in New Jersey. Yeah, the forecast calls for very much rain for the next week, so I decided to just stay in and not make any plans during the day and just chill and knit after a long work week. So yeah, it's quite cold today. It's like 50 degrees, which like we've just been hit with a lot of warm weather and very nice weather lately, so it feels quite cold today. I'm wearing my Ingrid Pullover slipover that I made during the winter, and it's entirely too big for me, but I like layering it on top of like sweaters and long sleeve shirts because it's very warm and oversized, so when I'm just in the mood to like lounge around and be comfy, this is something I go to. Yeah, by the way, this pattern's by Petite Knit. I knit it in a size medium, which was a big mistake because I'm a very like small shouldered gal, so yeah, and I knit it entirely too long as well, so it's just very big. I knit it with, I think the recommended yarn in the pattern, it was Issenger Jensen yarn and Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair, and I absolutely love the combination. It's very rustic, but also like it just feels very luxurious but rustic at the same time. After I blocked it, the fabric just like completely relaxed, and yeah, I love the color. I don't remember which colors I used, but brown to make this beautiful brown color. I definitely would re-knit this in maybe a different color and just knit it like a size small or extra small to actually fit my body. But I had considered giving this to like a male because it would probably fit them better, but it is what it is. I enjoy wearing it, just lounging around. So yes, I have some tea with me in my mug that I made with my friend. I didn't actually make the mug, but I painted it, and it was my first time ever painting ceramics, and it's interesting. I had no idea what I was doing, and I quite like painting, but I've never painted like an object like this, so, or used like a paint, like ceramic paint, so I kind of just went wild and made a bunch of colors. Inside is green and blue and pink, and the outside looks like this. So yeah, grab some tea, whatever you like, and hopefully this video is entertaining. I'm trying something a little bit different. I put an Airpod in my ear, so maybe the audio quality will be a little bit better. I hope so, because I film on my phone, and for now it's just what I have. It's what I plan to use, and it's working well so far, so until I upgrade, this is what we're working with. So I had read somewhere that maybe putting an AirPod in would help to make the video quality a little better. So yes, let's talk about my cardigan because I'm almost done with this. I'm working on my Ola cardigan by Vert and Rose, and it's all tangled up. But I'm finally on the second sleeve and gonna be done soon. I'm just waiting. I under-ordered yarn for the first time ever, and I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. So yeah, this is her so far. I put the buttons on already. I did the neckband. Yes, and then the beautiful detailing on the sleeve. It's like the highlight of this cardigan. Very nice cable detail down the sides of the sleeves. Saddle shoulder detail. So this, I had a feeling like in the beginning of April, I think, that this was going to become something that just sat on my needles and I never finished. But I'm glad that I pushed myself to get past the body, because I mean, it's knit on 6mm needles, and I've just realized I don't like working with bigger needles, which is quite a shame because I have like the Licca needle set and it goes up to like a very large size. So I have many options, but I don't know, I just don't enjoy the feel of 6mm needles as much as I do say like 4mm needles. That's like perfect for me. Also, like the beginning of this cardigan, I mentioned in my last podcast, oh, I didn't realize my lamp was sideways. I also have a dying plant back there that I'm trying to bring back to life, so don't mind that. In my last podcast, I talked about how I had a really hard time starting this cardigan. It was quite a messy start, and I got very frustrated. I had to restart it. The pattern, just like, it doesn't hold your hand at all. So I was kind of left to my own experiences and devices to get past the beginning part. You're just doing a lot of things at once, a lot of steps at once, and this was my first time doing saddle shoulders, so I just struggled a lot, especially like with the cables in combination with everything else. I don't know, it was just difficult, but regardless, it's turned out quite cute. My stitches in the beginning, I feel like were not as even, as you can see, especially like the German short rows. Yeah, I just don't really like working with 6mm needles and purling a lot. But yeah, I'm still really happy with how it turned out, and I think when it's blocked, it's gonna look really cute. I think what did it for me to like keep going with this is once I tried on, like I was halfway done with the first sleeve and I tried it on and I was like, wait a minute, this looks really cute. And purple, like, I feel like is very flattering on my pale skin and dark hair. So yeah, I'm really happy that I decided to pick it back up. I added these buttons to it that I just had laying around. I really did not know which buttons I wanted to put on it, but I decided to just use what I had, and I'm not mad about it. I think it looks fine. They're like a very dark brown black color, and I know that the version, or Vert and Rose, the cardigan that she has posted on her Ravelry, has these really cute little like golden or gold, I cannot speak today, this is gonna be interesting. She has these little gold bow buttons, and I thought that was really cute. Like, I think with purple, gold would go really well, but I just went with something basic, and I am getting some flaring like in between the buttons, so I'm hoping that with blocking like right in here, yeah, I'm hoping that with blocking it will take care of it. Also, please, when I block this, I hope that this calms down. I think this was either a short row or like maybe I hid some yarn. That is like, I think the biggest downside to this, and maybe I was just doing it wrong in the beginning, but I had so many ends to weave in, like just off the bat, like 20 of them, and I was very overwhelmed. But yeah, when I finish this, I'll talk more about it as a finished object. But yeah, I'm quite happy with my, I think I just did, I don't know if it was Italian bind off or just like regular tubular. I think it was just tubular bind off I did, but I think it looks quite nice with the twisted rib, especially once it's blocked. I think it'll look nice. I also did it for the neck, but this looks like a little rough, so hopefully again when I block it, it will soften up a little bit. So yeah, chunky, well, semi-chunky spring, was supposed to be spring cardigan. I had wanted to finish this by Easter, but that wasn't happening because I got my yarn to start my Moby Sweater, and that completely like took up all of my creative energy, I guess. So yeah, that's my Ola cardigan. Almost done. I just have this sleeve to go, and then I'll block it, and I'll definitely post pictures on my Instagram. So I'll link my Instagram down below. Where did the mohair go? I think I'm losing my mind because the mohair is nowhere to be seen. Oh, here it is. Okay. The struggle. Okay. Yeah, this is all I have left of the mohair, and I needed more. But I'm using West Yorkshire spinners in this purple color. I think it's called Black Currant, and then Rowan Kid Silk Haze yarn. Also, I forgot to mention, today is local yarn store day, so I'm considering going to my local yarn store. It's about 25 minutes from here, but I don't know, I was like, maybe I'll just do some online shopping, but I haven't seen any like online hand dyers post that they're doing anything online for local yarn store day, so we'll see. It's like 2 o'clock right now, so I still have time to go before I go do my other plans later today. But yeah, anyway, so this cardigan has been quite a complicated knit from the beginning, but once I got to the body, it wasn't too bad. I just, yeah, got tired of purling. I was excited to be done with the body, and the sleeves are going quite quickly, but yeah, it's been pretty complicated. It's not just like a knit in the round stockinette project, so it did take more effort than just like a stockinette sweater, I guess. So yeah, that's that. I'll put it over here. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about, my palette cleanser, I'll call it. I host a knitting club on Wednesday nights in the town that I live in, at the coffee shop, and we kind of just meet and we knit on the projects that we're working on, but I had an idea that we could all work on the same thing. So I tried to pick something that was pretty easy, that was kind of mindless. We could just work on it together, but actually we've all kind of like been working on it at home too. It's quite addicting, I would say, and that is the Purl Soho half and half triangles wrap, I think it's called. So I'm in the middle of a row, sorry, I probably should have finished it. But this is what mine is looking like so far. So we're all knitting this pattern, but we're all using different yarns, of course. I've decided to just use yarns that I have in stash, like single skeins, and just put them all together. Someone's doing like the 6 color pattern. The other 2 people have like self-striping, like multicolored yarn that is really cute, and they're doing it in like making 2 different versions. So I'm really excited to see how everyone's turns out, and I'll definitely post it on my Instagram. But this is mine so far. It's definitely a labor of love, but it's quite addicting. So first of all, the yarn, because it looks so pretty. I'm so happy to finally get to use this. This is the Sorella, I think it's just sock yarn, in the color Brooklyn. This is from her, what the heck was it called? it was the New York City inspired yarn, and New York City is right around the corner for me, so I like spending time there, and I love Brooklyn, so I'm very happy to have this yarn. It definitely is more of like a fall color, but that's okay. By the time we finish this, it will probably be fall. So yeah, I'm really surprised that it kind of turned out in like this garter stitch. It looks quite like self-striping. I did modify mine quite a bit. It is very long, like if I wasn't in the middle of the row you could see how long this is, but it looks kind of scrunched up right now. So I think the pattern wants you to knit it on 3.25 or maybe it's 3mm needles, but my Lickset starts at 3 and or 3.5, I'm sorry. And I didn't want to buy extra needles, but I actually do have, I forget why I bought these. Why did I buy these? For some, oh yeah, I think it was for, oh, it was for the collar of my Moby sweater. I accidentally bought these, or I got like 3.25mm needles, but I accidentally got the one that was like extremely long. But I'm actually really happy I got these because they come in handy. Like 3.25 is a perfect size for doing a lot of things with magic loop, so I'm quite happy I got them. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I have 3mm needles, but I only have them in my little like shorty set from Gu, so it wasn't gonna work. So I decided to just go up to 3.5, and I think it works quite well. You can kind of see like my skin peeking through my hand. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's definitely a looser gauge, but I think that's fine. I don't think it matters too much to me, especially with this variegation. Like it worked out fine, and I actually did, I think I casted on 280 stitches when you're supposed to cast on 290 for like the smaller size, but I did 280 because my tail was running out. As you can see, I only had this much left, so yeah, I just ended up doing 280, and it's still really big, so that's fine. This is how much I have of this cake. I still have quite a bit, but I'm gonna use my other Surreal skein that is this beautiful, I think it's called Sweater Weather, and it's this beautiful like fall autumnal brown color, like orangey almost. It's gonna look really nice with this, but other than that I have no idea what other skeins to use because those two alone are not going to be enough, I'm pretty sure. But I kind of just went into it like, screw it, I'll just find another skein that's going to work for this and play with the color pattern and striping, and it'll work out. So yeah, this has been quite refreshing for when I don't feel like doing my more complicated knits, and it's really addicting because you're kind of just like working to get to do your wrap and turn, which I've never done a wrap and turn before this, but yeah, it's quite addicting, and I still can't really like wrap my head around how doing like the wrap and turn, because you're not decreasing, you're just like skipping over and not knitting every stitch, and like the number of stitches you don't knit becomes greater. It's hard to explain, but I actually really do like it, and it's been a lot of fun and addicting because you just want to like get to your next wrap and turn. So yeah, that is the beginning of my Purl Soho half and half triangles wrap. So yeah, we're done with this one, and next is my beloved Moby sweater, which I have some things to say about. My yellow sweater. I'm obsessed with the color yellow. If you don't know, I just absolutely adore this color. So yes, let me show you what I have so far. And we will get to the topic of this video. So this is the front of the sweater. If you're thinking something looks off, it's because you're right. I did make a mistake and we're going to talk about it. But this is the front, and then the back looks absolutely beautiful, besides the one mistake that I made. You can't really even see it. But yeah, it's showing up quite washed out. Maybe like at this angle it looks more true to color, but it looks a little bit washed out on this camera. There we go. It's very yellow. It's very like banana cream yellow, which is funny because the colors are called banana and buttercream, the two colors that I chose to use. Yeah, I've been loving knitting this up, but it has not been the most smooth process. While I was knitting it, first of all, I knit the back a little bit too long because I wasn't really paying attention in the pattern, because the way that the written pattern makes it seem is that you're supposed to keep knitting. It says keep knitting until it measures this long. So I thought that that meant like complete the whole chart and like just like keep going. I didn't think that it was already like very close to the finished measurement for the back yoke, so for a size small. So yeah, I knit it a little bit too long, but I was like, you know what, it's okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. If anything, like the armholes are just going to be a little bit big, but maybe I could just cast on less stitches. I don't know. I'm like, let's just go with it and see what happens. But I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm probably about halfway through the body. Maybe, yeah, halfway through. But then the front, I had some problems because I don't know, like I was counting my stitches correctly in my head. I was like, okay, I have the right amount of stitches, but when I went to go join them, because you knit like the front panels separate and then you join them, when I joined them in here, the stitches weren't adding up, and that's why I have these little like weird things on the sides of the collar. If you can tell, if not, it's fine, but I can notice, and people who have knit this, you can probably notice, yeah, that's not supposed to be there. I don't think a non-knitter would ever notice, or someone that doesn't know this pattern, but yeah, I just kind of had to, because at that point I was like, I don't want to go back and redo it, like let me just try to tweak it and make it look as good as possible. And honestly, I think it's fine. It doesn't look like as clean as the pattern, like as Petite Knit sweater, but that's okay. This is definitely like the most involved and complicated pattern I've done, so the fact that I've even made it this far is really awesome. I'm in no way like an advanced knitter. I would say I'm intermediate. I like challenging myself, and this was probably the most challenging so far, because like the Ingrid Pullover, it is challenging, but I don't know. I didn't find it that hard, like as a more advanced beginner, if that makes sense. But yeah, joining this was quite difficult, and then once I was completely joined in the round, that's where things got a little messy because I misread the pattern. I had done a few rows, you can see in here. Let me try to, kind of in the middle, can't really hold it up that well, but in here, rather than, so basically you have to, you knit like the textured pattern, like the, what are they called? The crosses, crisscross things. The faux cables, you knit them one round, and then, or you knit in pattern the one round, and then the next round is just like plain knit round. So, but what I was doing is I was doing the faux cabling every round. So, and I, like, something was off. I was like, what the heck is going on? So that's why those triangles or those cables look smaller than the rest. And hopefully once it's blocked out, it won't be too bad, but it's definitely noticeable right now. And I had gotten pretty far before I realized I was making that mistake, and I was like, I could rip this out, but I don't think I'm going to. And the reason being is because knitting is something that is very relaxing for me. I love process knitting. I mean, it's wonderful to finish projects, but I love the process of knitting and getting to the end. And with this complicated of a pattern, I just knew that if I tried to pull back and redo this, I was going to be so frustrated, and it would cause me a lot of stress to the point that I might not pick this back up for a while. And I was kind of weighing the pros and cons in my head, like, is this really that bad of a mistake to where I need to rip this back? Because there have been projects where I've ripped back before, but it has to be like a very significant mistake that's going to like throw off the entire pattern, to where like it can't come back, basically. And I just decided it's not worth the headache. Yeah, for me, like, knitting is very peaceful, it's very calming, and I didn't want to put myself in a situation where like I wasn't going to pick this back up, because I spent a lot of money on this yarn. I'm really enjoying the pattern, and I just would have become quite angry at this sweater, knowing me. Not to say that I haven't become a very patient knitter. Do you know what I mean? Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Personally, like, yes, I like when like a project looks very clean and nice, but this is something I'm hand knitting. So if there are little quirks in it, and like, you know, it's maybe a little sloppy in some places, in my opinion, that's okay, because I'm making this. Like, this is something that's coming from my hands. I didn't write the pattern, so it's not like completely intuitive to me. There's new techniques. It's just a part of the process of learning how to be a better knitter. So I can look back on this and see that mistake. Unfortunately, it's right in the middle of the front, but I highly doubt that anyone else is going to notice it. It's really not that big of a deal. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that because, you know, I think, like, in the back of my head, I was thinking, like, well, I want to, like, post this on social media and show the finished project, and if I have this big mistake in the front, like, I don't know, people are going to judge it or something. And then I'm like, no, that's dumb. I don't care. I shouldn't care about what other people think. Like, just because I see other people's Moby sweater that look absolutely perfect, that's where they are at in their knitting journey, and I don't have to compare where I'm at with that, you know. And there's nothing wrong with making mistakes and not wanting to go back and fix them. So yeah, I wanted to share that because that was on my mind as I've been knitting this. And yeah, other than that, everything else has been smooth sailing. Like, at this point in the pattern, it's very intuitive. I know what I'm doing. I love the double moss stitch so much. That's one of the things that like really attracted me to the sweater, is I love moss stitch and double moss, but I would never want like a full sweater in it. So I mean, I love the moss stitch in this. It's so beautiful. Yeah, and then the cables are turning out really nicely also. Yeah, just hopefully when it's blocked out, it will smooth out a little bit. The neckband, I really like doing my neckband before I like move on to things, because so like after I joined in the round and ran out of yarn, I just went straight to the neckband, because it just makes me feel like the sweater's more put together. I don't know. I really like doing the neckband. It's a little bit interesting, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it ends up sitting when I'm done, or when it's blocked. I did do it in magic loop, so there's like this thing, which really bothers me, and it's in the front, of course. But yeah, after blocking, I might put an elastic in it. It's double folded, and as I was knitting it, I actually really liked the look of it just like as not double folded, like regular. But I decided, you know, like I want to knit the pattern, so I'm just gonna keep going. And I'm not mad about it, but like right in here, it's sitting a little weird. So we'll see. We'll see how it ends up being once I'm done. Yeah, I don't have any other comments about it at this time, but when it's a finished object, I will of course share a lot more about it. But that's it. My goal is by tomorrow, so either today or tomorrow, casting on my Karina tee by Sorry Nordland. I have some really beautiful yarn that I shared in my last podcast that I'm going to be using for that. So, but it's also a very complicated knit, so I don't know. I just like have a lot of very complicated knits right now. And I've been dying to cast on a sock because I have this beautiful pink yarn from La Bien Amie and I'm really inspired by the Rigmore tee by Petite Knit, which I really want to knit, but I don't know. We'll see. After my Karina tee, if it's not too late in the summer, then I'll definitely knit it, because I just have my eye on it. But I'm inspired by the pattern, so I want to knit socks that are like that in this color. I also have this really nice navy color for socks, but I've just been working on all these other things, so yeah, we'll see by next time where I'm at. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Hopefully the audio was a little bit better. I'm gonna go listen back and see. But yeah, until next time, happy knitting and happy local yarn store day, especially to all the local dyers, local stores, small businesses. Happy local yarn store day, and hopefully I make it to my local yarn store. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.